Oh, yeah, we got one a while ago. Okay, we're live. Good evening, everybody, to the Wednesday, it's the October 22nd, 2025 Public Site and Building Commission regular meeting. If you could all please stand and you'll say the Pledge of Allegiance.
States of America, the Republic which stands, nation, indivisible, with justice for all.
Okay, we do have 4 members present tonight, so
Just give Kathy a minute. Oh,
Yeah.
in here, goddamn.
Trying to, but you keep. You.
Who's not?
It's just the Rick.
I think
But if I can't mute, I can't mute him.
It says you can't unmute him.
Well, like see everybody else, if you look, everybody
I know.
else is gray.
Now I
He's
see it.
not.
he's
So
live.
if I
Click
click on,
that anyway. Click it anyways.
clicking.
Oh, it's not going. Rick, Rick, David out, could you mute yourself, please? Thank you. We're getting a lot of feedback. Now, hopefully everybody can hear okay? Yeah, good. Yay.
Okay, great.
I can
Thank you.
hear too.
Okay, so next on the agenda, any public input? There's nobody here, so we'll move on. Any correspondence? Answer is no from Kathy. Okay. Next item is the approval of the regular meeting minutes from October 8th, 2025. That was posted a couple days ago by Kathy. Does anybody have any comments?
Make a motion.
Okay, right. Okay,
Second.
okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that was passed. Thank you. There's no new business.
Actually, you have to abstain. Were you at the last meeting?
Oh, no.
He has to abstain.
Okay,
I tried to be.
Then you don't.
I know, you tried to zoom in and you didn't get here.
okay,
No
so,
zooming going on for
so we
me.
should make another motion then, right?
No,
Okay.
he can still make a motion. And,
Oh,
He
you
just-
can't vote on it.
right,
Okay,
so then he would abstain.
okay.
On the vote, I abstain.
All right. Moving along, the BHS HVAC upgrade. Rick is going to give us an update on that, but in the meantime, just to brief everybody, we went last week to a special Board of Selectmen meeting on the 14th.
Yeah, but that was for the roof.
Sorry, I'm getting mixed up. To the Board of Finance.
No.
And that was approved.
But not, this is HVAC. Separate.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking of the roof. Pardon me.
We'll do that next.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Okay, Rick, you got the floor. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought I missed something there, but that's okay. So
Sorry. My fault.
no worries. All right, so since our last meeting, we do have everything up on the roof. They do have ductwork going up on the roof. They have installed all the piping to the radiators in the building, so we do have the ability to heat. Okay, in the interim, before the project is completed. A new schedule I did send out, I believe, to you, Nancy, and Roger for distribution for which was sent out on November 14th. With those, I know I sent it out to everybody in the OIC meetings, which has the start
You
of
mean
the
October 14th, right?
I'm sorry, yeah, October, my mistake.
We're not November yet.
Yeah, not yet. scheduled to start and test equipment on November 10th, substantial completion on November 28th, and then demobilization on December 4th. Okay, kind of the major milestones there.
And does that look like it's doable?
Rogers out on the drive.
Um,
Is-
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm going out Monday. I haven't been out since just before the last meeting. Going out Monday with SEC and hopefully Coloradoan to do another survey. So we'll know more then. As Tyler well knows, what we hear is not always what we see. So I just it sounds like they're moving forward pretty well. We've had a little bit of rain, but some pretty good weather. So I don't think that's much of an excuse to go there. So hopefully we're moving along, and we'll know more on Monday. But we as of our OAC meeting yesterday, Jason from Save More did feel that it was unachievable. These are achievable dates.
So Rick, you did send out a new schedule last week. And did that get put on the shared drive, or did you just send it to a couple of us and it never got translated?
I can put it on the shared drive. If I didn't, I thought I did put it on the shared drive, but I can't be 100% sure of that.
Dave, are you seeing it there?
It's not on, I mean, if it is on here, I can't see it. This is the first time I've seen it.
We might have to check that just to make sure.
Okay.
But yeah. I saw it in the email, but I wasn't sure if you had already posted and didn't go any further than that.
Yeah, I will do that first thing tomorrow.
Okay.
It's posted on there, but my apologies for not getting it out there. I thought I had to do that.
So is there currently work going on outside up on the roof and also inside?
Yeah, correct. They do have there's one potential shutdown for a sprinkler relocation in one of the hallways, and so that we have to coordinate that with Tyler and the school to get that done. There was a possibility of two locations where they needed to run the ductwork, but they think they found a way around one, so it just be the single area where they have to move a sprinkler head or adjust the height of the sprinkler head.
Will that be done at night or weekend or what?
Yeah, it would have to be done. It would have to be done off hours, obviously, and any work inside is done at night anyway. Right now, they're doing some work on the roof during the day, during daylight hours. But anything inside would be done in the evening, and it wouldn't be that long of a shutdown. But we were kind of talking through that at the OAC meetings.
Got a quick question for you, Rick. Are they confident they're going to be able to start and test the equipment on 11/10? I mean, are they going to be able to do the AC? There's not going to be a big enough heat load in the building, will there?
That I'm not sure of, but
Properly on that?
I've got it. The commissioning agent SEC coming out on Monday as well. So
So SEC commissioning will be able to check that.
SES, yeah, yep.
Yeah, sorry. And then they have to, they do a check too in however many months, whatever their contract says.
Okay.
Correct.
We often can do that remotely, so they don't have to show up. They could just, if they can get into the system, they'll check that all controls and make sure after X number of months, sometimes it's a half a year, like once we get into
Exactly. It's usually half a year or sometimes 9 months they come back up.
But yeah, I would ask them if that's something with the whole check initially on in November, can they do that too initially, and then also do their check in whatever 6 or 9 months, whichever.
If they're going to fire it up in 6 months, then are they going to come back
Yeah.
and check
Right.
again months after that?
Yeah, I do know that they have a second session, if you will, to
Yeah.
come back in their contract.
Yep.
So, and then as far as the exhaust fans go, once they get all the the ductwork set up for the main system, they're going to install the exhaust fans.
Okay. Any other questions for Rick on this? Anybody from the Board of Ed have any questions?
I don't have, I don't have a question. I just wanted to let the commission know that the town did receive their first payment from the Office of School Construction. And Geraldine was able to put the paperwork in, and I submitted it, I don't know, a couple of days ago for the second payment. And I think that once the project is complete, and I'm waiting to hear back from Geraldine, but I think once the project is complete, we'll submit the final invoices. So that's progressing nicely.
Good.
Great.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do have one more item on that, but, and Tyler, maybe you can help me out with this. There is a radiator there, that's in is it the second floor hallway, Tyler?
Yeah, we're calling it the second floor for this project. It's the main floor. It's an entry vestibule from the front of the building. Has a radiator heater that was built into the wall that is not currently functional, has not been for several years, but definitely should be functional. There's a sprinkler head in that vestibule that could freeze if conditions were aligned in the negative light, and that door is used in the wintertime by staff. That the electrical feed came from a classroom from above, and it was tied through one of the unit ventilators that has since been removed. I have asked Rick to get a quote from the project to bring to the commission here to refeed that electrical from below so that I can get it replaced at a future date. And that's where I think Rick was going. I don't know that we actually received that quote from Save More.
No, we didn't receive that quote, and being as we are kind of running up against the end of the project, hopefully, that we kind of investigated it last time we were out, took a look, maybe we were just going to replace the motor. We found that the motor was not even manufactured anymore, and substitutes for that motor are not readily available or readily identified right now. So in speaking with Tyler, we're talking about possibly even just getting the electrical feed to that radiator, which somehow has failed, and possibly putting under this project. We do have about $110,000 left in the contingency, and we thought that might be a good place to put it. Now, I don't know how much it's going to be for that. I don't have a proposed change order, but I was just kind of throwing it out there if we could do a possible not to exceed just in, the next meeting we have, I think is in 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
Yes.
So, towards the end of the project and then it would be another 2 or 3 weeks after that. And we would just kind of lose some time. So I was just wondering if maybe the board would consider, kind of a maximum dollar figure that, maybe $2,500 to refeed it. And then once we get the pricing from Save More, determine whether we can just say yes or no, because, obviously once they give me the change order, if we don't have the approval of the board, I can't approve it.
So, Tyler, I'm just curious, there's electrical now that feeds that,
No.
or it's cut?
No, it was removed when the unit ventilator was removed from a classroom on the front of the building. So there's no power being fed to that currently. That's what Save More was supposed to give Rick a change order for, was to refeed the electrical from below so that I could look at replacing the fan motor at a future date. Save More was supposed to give us a quote for possibly changing the fan motor as well. They weren't comfortable going with a third-party motor. It should not be any kind of special order motor, although I have not investigated it yet myself, but laying eyes on it, it looks like a very typical motor that we should be able to replace fairly easily. But if the power is not there, it becomes a much bigger project in the future. And that heater really should work so that we don't risk freezing anything.
So was that electrical feed taken out as part of this project?
Correct.
Internally, or
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah. So the power was fed. It was daisy chained off of one of the unit ventilators that's been removed. And once that was removed, there was no way. There is a way to refeed it, but that involves feeding it from below, which is not part of the project scope. So that would be a change order.
So are you saying that if we approve a not to exceed amount now, you might be able to once you get the actual change order, then I'll get started on the work. You'll bring the change order to us, we'll approve the amount, it'll get signed, all that. Or are you waiting till the next meeting?
No, what I'm proposing is if we want to get this done, I think it's a better chance to have it done under the project if we kind of approve it not to exceed now. And then, if it goes over that, naturally it has to come back for a vote. But if not, if we wait and go for another 2 weeks by the time they get it back, I don't know that there'll be time in the project to do it at that point.
So if we approve that for speed of, 5, an amount that might, or should we go?
Mark, can you mute, please? Oh, thanks. All right, good. Yeah, because you have
You're good.
background, sorry.
So I'll make a motion, then we can discuss. Just make sure I get all the pieces and parts, and I'll make a motion that we approve potential change order amount not to exceed $2,500 to bring an electrical feed into that heater in the main floor vestibule. Is that enough information, or do I need more?
No, I think that would do it.
Does that sound good? Yeah? Okay, somebody's got a second.
Okay, seconded.
Dave Olson seconds. Now we gotta discuss it even more. Or not. I think, we go ahead with that.
think
You
we do it, yeah.
keep working on them to get a specific change order to bring to us as soon as possible, obviously. Because if they're working in that area, and just get on it and get it done. Bring in whoever has to do it. And then bring us the actual written change order that we would then approve again, but.
Exactly, but I would be able to, if with this motion and approval, I would be able to give them the go ahead to
Yeah.
do it as long as it's under that dollar figure.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
And naturally, I'm not going to tell them what that dollar figure is, but,
Yeah, they'll listen to the meeting if they really want to. but-
So we have to vote on that.
Yeah, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so passed. All right, thanks, Rick. So you'll get back to us.
Next meeting.
Yeah, next meeting or sooner, at least the email.
yeah, as soon as I find out if we get that, change order or that dollar figure ahead of time, I will definitely send it out to you, Roger, and make sure that we, going down the right channels.
Okay, anything else from the Board of Ed or anything with the roof, with the heating issue? Okay,
I just wanted to let you know on a personal note that I'm going to be retiring at the end of November. So kind of one of the reasons why I asked Mark to join us. so just want to make sure that you knew it. So basically, I think we only have one meeting in November, correct?
Yeah, well, the second meeting in November is the day before Thanksgiving. If we don't need it, we might just
I don't even
not.
think it's on the calendar.
Oh, okay.
oh, it's done.
I don't think so, because I
Okay.
think because it was so close to being.
Yeah, usually we cancel them anyways because nobody's around.
All right,
Okay.
so I just wanted to let you know, and one of the reasons why Mark's here, if you had any questions on that end.
Well, congratulations, except you don't get to retire. We don't let people who, you can tell by Gerald continuing,
Exactly.
we don't let people retire. So you're gonna get stuck with us for a little while longer.
You'll be saying, I'll be back.
I've heard that from a lot.
He's got another client that's trying to keep him too, so.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
very good.
Mark, you'll have, I don't know, what, will you have somebody, you?
Yeah,
or-
I've already got somebody in mind to shadow Rick at another project that he's doing for us in the next few weeks, and then I'll have him also shadow Rick on this so that any of the final closeout stuff, this person can support you guys as well as Geraldine. Geraldine, fortunately, is not going away for a little while anyway, so she'll still be around to help with your closeout.
Right, but you have somebody local-ish who will be able to go to the job if needed, like that.
Yes, as a matter of fact, the gentleman that I'm considering for the position is actually, I believe he lives in Norwalk, so he's not far.
Okay. Or you can,
He's in Fairfield County.
yeah, or you could use the company jet and bring Geraldine and that would be fine.
I actually, am thinking about having her come back, for an awards ceremony that we are having, through the Connecticut CMAA. And if anybody would like to attend, it's, I believe the Thursday before Thanksgiving. And, I believe it's the 20th. STV is being honored as, Connecticut, Construction Managers Association of America as, Firm of the Year. So
Cool.
Oh, great.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
thank you. So we're inviting any of our clients that are interested in attending. So anybody would like to go to a nice dinner at the AquaTurf, let me know. I'm happy to have you.
And Dr. Carver will make cookies.
Okay, anything else, on the project? Any other questions?
We don't have any invoices, so I think we're good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no invoices this time around.
Yep.
Everything's on the first.
Yeah, just so you know, on that front from STV, we've changed our accounting system in the past 4 weeks, and we've gone from what is known in the industry as BST to Deltek. And I'm not sure we're going to get any invoices out anytime soon. So,
All right, then. It's good to know. I think that they're
but I did want to also report one thing that Rick has done a really good job managing his time, and so has Geraldine. And if you remember, I had mentioned way back in May or April that I was concerned we would be running up against our budget and might need a change order. And at this point in time, I do not believe, even though we've gone well past our contract date, we will need a change order. I think we'll be fine.
good. Yeah, because in the beginning, we spent like way too much time back and
We
forth.
did. Yeah, we spent a lot of time on the contract, a lot more time than we should have, and the whole project shifted. But,
Yep.
you know, kudos to Rick for his ability to really manage his time very tightly. So we were
Right.
able to, it doesn't look like we'll need anything.
Good. Thanks for letting us know.
Thank you.
Mark, we
You're
do have to get that invoicing out for December though, right? Because isn't this
Yeah.
for December? So
We should be fine for that, Rick.
Yep.
We should be fine. That's all I can say. We should be. STV likes to get paid, so I'm sure it's high priority for them.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. The next, item on the agenda is the BHS roof project. So let me start over again. So we did have a, special board of selectmen meeting last Tuesday, the 14th, so that they could, approve the contractor, for the roof assessment. And then right away, that was at 6 o'clock meetings, 7 o'clock meeting, we went to the Board of Finance and they did approve it, in the amount of, was it $73,200? Is that correct, Jennifer, right? Yes, okay. So we did that. And, I guess the question that we have is, what's the progress of the contract going forward? Time frame or?
So the town has reached out to Silver and Petrucci to start the ball rolling on that. I would assume it will probably take a little while. So the town process is that they ask for the company to send us a proposed contract, and then our legal counsel reviews it, and then they negotiate back and forth. So I would expect it'll probably take several weeks.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Well, at least that's going forward.
Yes.
Any other comments on that? Dr. Carver, anybody?
No, I think Jen said it correctly. It's going to take a good couple of weeks. So
But is that something that, like, you've reached out to them as the town, so to speak, and we don't do that, but you'll be part of any back and forth with them and the town?
It was actually the town finance / procurement team that has reached out, and Tyler and I will support in terms of anything they need for the schools,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. But it's really Melanie really takes the lead on the contract negotiations.
Right, and then should we have any emails or whatever include like Roger and Tom, or should we just leave it?
I think once they get closer to I think what's happened in the past is once they get closer to a final draft of the contract, because they do go back and forth many times. I mean, I think Jen will speak to that.
Yeah.
And then once Melanie's satisfied with the language of the contract, and it's ready to be signed by, I think the selectmen sign it, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. At that point, we will send it to the committee for your review.
Okay. I don't know if we ever really make changes or anything.
No, I mean, we don't either. Once Melanie's given the approval,
Yeah.
we don't either.
Yeah. So,
My comment.
Yeah.
If the commission's charged with making sure that that contract is fulfilled.
Yeah.
In the course of things.
Yeah.
I think the commission should have at least a review capability before the end of the process.
most of what's happening, I think now, because that's their response of their proposal to the RFP, is all the legalese kind of things that, and the insurance probably, because that's become a thing. I'm thinking.
Yeah, and I don't disagree. I think you will get a copy of the contract once it's in kind of the final draft form before it's actually signed. So I think you're I can't see who actually made that comment, but absolutely you should be looking at it prior to the selectmen signing it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's Dave Olson. He's like over there.
Okay, yeah, Dave, I don't disagree.
Okay, yeah, we could have moved over a couple seats,
Yeah.
I guess. And then Dave Resendez is way down there. We can't see him either.
Sorry.
That's the way the camera works sometimes. So yeah, we'll have to do that because if we're approving invoices and checking to make sure stuff's getting done the way it's supposed to get done, I think we have to know what we're getting ourselves into. So,
Yep, I don't disagree.
okay.
So who will probably be the point to contact to report to us? Jennifer?
Jen,
Yeah, okay, good.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, any other questions?
I don't think we have anything else on that.
No?
We don't even have invoices on that yet
No.
because we don't have a contract yet.
Right, so. Okay, thank you. Good night, thanks.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, good night.
Take care. Okay, so the next item on the agenda.
So actually,
Oh,
one
sorry.
thing on
Yeah.
the, I was thinking about, like, we have that contract. They're gonna do an assessment. And then we're gonna have to come up with see, now we can see everybody because we're not all squished,
Yeah, yeah.
except we can only see Kathy's legs. Once the assessment comes out, then we've got a cost estimate. We've got to look at how much is it gonna be? Do we have to do a referendum, whatever? Are we going to, we'll have to ask,
Would that go out to bid also?
it will have to go out to bid.
Because this is just an assessment.
That's
and they're
just the
gonna say
assessment.
X, and now you gotta,
And then once the assessment is done, and does the assessment include plans? I'm trying to remember how the proposals came in. Yeah. They're gonna give us plans like manufacturer and all that kind of stuff. And then
specification, yeah.
do we have a need for, especially if they're going to try to go through getting reimbursements from Office of School Construction? Do we need an owner's rep type person on board? We might have to ask that at the next meeting once. I didn't think about asking that before they left,
Yeah.
but that would be obviously an additional amount to have to spend, but as we have found since we've been using owners' representatives, that additional amount spent saves us a whole lot of money.
Yeah, they have, different skills so that they can really focus in on
Yeah,
issues.
and most of the firms have like teams of people that, one does this part, Rick David Howe is kind of more like a project engineer. And Geraldine does more of the management and paperwork, and because she's done that a million times before. And then if they need, they have somebody that'll review some plans and like that, so, yeah, okay.
Good, all right. So the next item is the animal shelter, and we're still going to table that somewhat. Jonathan, Matt said that he'll have some more, information for our next meeting. However, on the shared drive, under the animal shelter project, he did put some more information, potential sites that the town may or may not use. So if anybody has not looked at that yet, there's been some other development, some other damage some storm damage at the animal shelter. So John will brief us more at the next meeting.
I just have one quick question.
Yeah.
Who has the ultimate say on site? Where, do we just approve once we get, this is where they want to do it, we approve it, or do we have to give input on where we think it should go? I'm just
I
asking
think-
because I haven't picked the
Yeah,
site for anything,
so-
so how's that work?
How about the police station? Who said here?
Or do they give us a list of two, and they say, well, what do you guys
So
think? Do we have
there's-
any input,
yeah,
or do we just vote?
We do
once
have,
they-
we do have some input. Just a couple of different projects where we had to come up with a site, like the first one was the Park and Rec, where they have all their equipment stored down there behind the old police station.
Yeah.
All that stuff used to be stored at the high school, because there was like a garage under the high school where
Yeah.
they stored that stuff. When the high school was renovated and redesigned, no space was made for that stuff. So suddenly Park and Rec was like, where do we put our stuff? And then we were tasked with coming up with a Butler building type, and where are we gonna put it? So we did wander around to several, we meaning me and somebody else on the commission, and a couple of Park and Rec, Eileen, a couple other people. Somebody from Public Works, probably before you. And we picked like a spot up in the schools and a couple other spots in town. And then we were told to put it there by former first selectman, who shall remain nameless. So it was an okay place for it. For the police station, when we did the needs assessment study, which was finished in 2006, part of the, Chikunsky-Humes did the needs assessment study. Part of their proposal was to look at and assess 3 different sites in town with us and give their input on which site they thought was best. And we did start doing that's where one of the lists that we gave Jonathan came from, was somebody sat in the assessor's office. 2 members of the commission sat in the assessor's office, made a list, came up with, because we needed 2 acres, I think, like that, or 1.5 acres, I can't remember. Wandered around, looked at different things, looked at the that area, which was pretty much overgrown by the schools where it sits now. And just because we mentioned it, it sort of became theirs.
Yeah.
So we have to have input, because I think we have, but then we have to also think about, do we need to have a civil engineer or somebody like that who might help us look at a spot and say, oh, well, there's this. Did you think about, or, looking at the spot where they are now, obviously there's wetlands behind, and so we need input from people who might know more than we, but we might have to make a proposal, I suppose, to the Board of Selectmen. So they're okay with it. Cause I don't know if we'd want to go out and hire somebody to do a bunch of plans and all that and then find out that nobody approves. Nobody else likes the
Yeah.
spot or whatever. Or somebody says, oh, well, we were gonna use that spot for this. You can't.
Do we have to abandon the spot we have, or is that an option, one of the options?
The spot that we're in now is,
It's iffy.
the building would be pretty much on the road. And, I mean, you could, I'm not a surveyor, I mean, I guess you could make it work. But I don't think it would be ideal, and I think
that whole plot is kind of like not big enough with the wet behind it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of the wetlands, it gets flooded.
right, so you know, the water, the pump house that's there, that would
Go
be
away.
like the middle of the, like, from, I think the projection that we saw, I think it's on the drive, you're basically pulling in and parking right in front of the building. And then, I forget what they call that building they can drive into, like that's,
So Sally.
yeah, the Sally Port was like, the design of it, you're kind of forcing a round peg into a square
Yeah.
hole, you know, you can make it happen, but it's not, you know.
Cause
But,
then the old building would get torn down.
Yeah.
There might be some parking there,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like,
but again, where the parking is, if it's flooding those days, you're
Yeah.
losing half your spots.
who's
so.
gonna park there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Are there any options that have been put forward?
So-
there's a list
There's a list.
of 4 potential property. or
On
no,
the
yeah,
drive,
4.
under the animal shelter, they have a map and they have, 1 or 2 sites in Francis Clark, a few up in Old Holyville, the ballpark, street there, park
Ballfield Road,
area,
Ball field.
Grove
Ballfield
Going
Road,
back towards where the pump is.
Crowfield, you know,
Yeah,
Crowfield.
Grove
Yeah.
There's some parking area the town owns and some wood is, so they're thinking that's flat. And so there's 3 or 4 places. It's just a matter of,
Public Works doesn't come up with an idea somewhere in that.
I mean, we don't even have,
That's- we're the one that made the list.
yeah, we made the,
Yeah.
or
they made the list.
they made the list.
And they did come up with some, draft design. John and Eric came up, and it's on there. I mean, the potential, because you have to have so much space to walk them. And was it in the 2028, there'll be new standards also.
Yeah.
So we gotta make it to those.
Yeah, we have to build
Yeah, so you have
those
to make it,
standards.
because by the time this is done, it'll be that. So it's not only that draft, but maybe more. And so you're talking a bigger.
Yeah, I think, correct me if you're wrong, this is like from how I understood it, was this is like the bare minimum of
Yes.
what they need.
Yes.
We need the kennels designed this way. They need to add these, the Sally Port needs to be put in it. These are like the must-haves, no, you know, bare bones, this is what it needs to be. And this might not even conform to what those new regulations are. This is for what's now. This is what, based off of 2 other ones that have been built with these constraints.
Recently, yeah.
Recently, I know one was Danbury, I already forgot what the other town was, in another town, what they did. And these are scaled down quite a bit from what Danbury has. And I can't remember the other town. I think it was Monroe. Yeah.
Monroe,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I think it was scaled down from what we saw from them. This is scaled down. So I think once we get into it, we have to dot our i's and cross our t's. My assumption would be that this is gonna probably be a bigger building than what we're looking at right here. That would be my assumption. Again, that's
To go along with future
future
regulations.
regulations
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything, I'm guessing that it's probably gonna be a slightly larger concept than what we're looking at here.
And it is somewhat shared, with the town of Reading. They pay a per diem charge, whatever the town has to negotiate, but, so that will be,
Yeah, if they continue with it, I
Yeah.
guess. Reading
Yeah,
wanted
they-
to, but they'll-
they may not,
Yeah.
you know, that's not up to us, but, so the,
Yeah, I think we probably will have big input on where, and then still have to check out, it's like any project too, when you start looking at anything, it's like if other departments have some input that we think we might need because they get affected somehow by it too, we want to let people know.
Yeah, no, that was my only question. I just wasn't
Yeah.
sure if it was like, oh, we have this list now, we have to put it out there to say you're using this, or
Yeah,
are we gonna get feedback from, like you said, a bunch of other departments? and say,
Right.
Well, we might be looking at that for this expansion, so no, you
Yeah.
can't use that.
right. But I think, Kathy, would you know if you heard the other departments thinking about building something somewhere?
No, I mean, that's one of the, we kind of like already kind of vetted out some of that. to
Okay.
make sure That
Right.
it wasn't gonna be,
Cause all I saw was the map of these 4
Yeah.
sites, like these
Yeah.
are the names of them.
So everybody should check them out, and
Yeah.
I don't know whether we need to do a wander around, look at them thing at some point with John or Eric, or what's the best way to go forward, I would ask for input from John and or Eric.
Well, I think John said, the next meeting, he'll have a lot more
Okay.
Okay.
information
That's good.
because of the damage and everything with
I
the
just want to
current
sure if we
one.
need to be
They have
prepared
to
to say
move somewhat
our
fast.
opinion at the next meeting.
So there is gonna be more push for this
All right.
sooner than later, according to John. So next meeting, he'll have some more information, whatever it is. I think the other issue is even Francis Clark, area sounds good because they have all the, plumbing, electrical, sewer.
Everything's underground up there already, yeah.
However, the Economic Development Commission may, they want to sell it
stuff,
and
yeah.
get money coming in. So there's going to be some type of back of it. So, and that's beyond our scope right now.
Right, right.
That's what the Board of Selectmen and whatever, so.
That's more like it's that big.
Okay, so,
Could we put it over at Agway or something like that?
right now.
Agway,
yeah, that's,
Has that hit the market yet?
I don't
haven't
even
seen
know what's
sign
going
yet.
on with that, yeah.
All right.
Okay,
okay, we're done with that?
yeah.
Yep.
thanks.
Okay, okay, so the highway garage roof replacement. Last Tuesday, at the Board of Finance, they approved the bids that we approved. And then, just on Monday, on the 20th here, Jonathan followed through with, Tarantino and Torello, sorry, engineers. They got signed contracts. And, as of this afternoon, they were registered with the town clerk. So that's official. And, we also have the first invoices, to get them going as retainers. So, well, let me make a motion. So I have the signed proposals and contracts here, if anybody wants to take a look at them for both of them. But, I'd like to make a motion, that we accept from Gary Tarantino Architect invoice number 1, dated October 20th, 2025 for a retainer for the proposal of the architectural services for the Bethel Garage roof report. And, the balance is $4,000.
Is that the amount that they want?
Yes,
Okay,
for the retainer.
okay. Balance due, right?
Yes.
Okay,
So second way, Dave, you okay?
sorry, I asked my questions before we
No,
got
it's
a
okay.
second.
That's all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passed. Then we have the contract was signed with Torello Engineers, and that's for the structural evaluation retainer. So it's invoice number 4704. It was dated September 9th, 2025. I don't know why it was, I guess it was first proposed at that time for the structural evaluation retainer. And the balance is $3,600. So I make a motion that we accept this invoice.
I second.
Seconded by Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Okay, yeah, so we gotta give those to Kathy when you.
right. All right. And then, so
And
let's
then-
hope that, so we should get some reports, soon. I don't know.
Once they get a check, I think they'll probably start, or are they gonna start? Do we know? We can find out and ask John
Jonathan
and
would
Eric
know, yeah.
to, because sometimes when it's approved and signed and they'll get started even though the check is in the mail kind of thing. So-
They're planning to start it.
Hmm?
I think they're planning on getting going.
Good,
Yeah, yeah.
that would be good, because it would be
Beat the
nice to
weather,
start hearing something like in 2 weeks at our next meeting.
Can I just ask, what is the normal time frame by the time that we approve an invoice? Right?
They cut
I
checks.
sign it, I give it to you, it goes to the
Finance.
controller or finance?
I bring it to finance. Checks are cut every Thursday.
Oh,
So it's a little hard on a Wednesday for me to get my minutes
Right,
done.
right.
I try hard to get my minutes done in the morning to have everything up there so then
right, right.
before noon so they can cut a check. But if it doesn't go out
No,
this week, it'll go
Next
out next
Thursday.
week.
Okay, so it'll go out very quick.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And,
Very tight.
and the finance is great at keeping up with things. When we used to meet on Tuesdays. So it gave Kathy a whole like day and a half in a way to get stuff to finance and check. What we approved went out pretty much the same week. And then when we changed our meetings to Wednesdays and we weren't sure if we were always going to get things to finance on time, we were told, I think it was STV, Carolyn said, you guys pay way quicker than anybody I've ever worked for. So it's good to know. You know, we're pretty much keeping on top of invoices and payments.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for that.
Days for the other town.
Last item is the Muni Center locker room. I just happened to talk to Dan Carter the other day when I asked him something else. I just saw him in the hall. Oh yeah, I was at the early voting on Monday. So we really, of course, he would like to get some matching funds, whatever, but of course, like you said, in the past, we have to have something in the works, some type of a proposal or bids and plans. And I know we've been like in limbo for a while, but and once again, I think you mentioned Nancy, but he did too. We kind of, not that it'll be designed for the shelter, but in the past, they've used that as a shelter, or at least for showers during power outages and storms, and maybe for sleeping in the past. And I work at the Red Cross for about the past year, so there's shelters. I don't know what the town's shelter is in Bethel. Possibly it's that, or they would have to use that. But that's an issue too, on that. So, we really need to get going. So I know you said plans, we don't know, codes and all that, but
So the last.
who do we start with? We have
Right.
to start.
Well, we kind of did start with, BMP and Gordian when they came. I think you were there, Dave, and
Yes,
me,
yep.
and maybe Jeff came, I can't remember.
That's
To
what I
go
got
through,
the wall.
to take a look at, you know, kind of show them around, tell them what we were looking at doing, some general ideas. And BMP was gonna come up with the idea for a cost to make some plans. And then they were the ones that said, including a full building analysis, something like $95,000 possibly, which we all thought sounded like a lot. And do we need a full building analysis? So I don't feel comfortable making that decision, saying no or yes. It might be helpful. I mean, I keep thinking about the whole building. The whole building was high school with hundreds of kids here, with the bathrooms where they are. And because no new bathrooms were really made except for when we did the GP room lobby, we put an extra bathroom there. So do we need more bathrooms in that shower locker room area? Because it's not going to be locker rooms really. It's going to be like a toilet, you know, toilets, sinks,
Yeah.
showers, like a couple, 3 or
I
so.
think they don't even have connected to the gym anymore, right?
They do.
No, they
Now
do.
it is, but did they have, I thought they took it out and there's just gonna be one door there going into a hallway, I thought.
So there was, right now you can get from the gym to both shower areas because that preschool group that meets in there uses the bathrooms in there. I've seen them come in.
Well, park and rec
And-
for like basketball games, you know, the
They,
both teams go in.
they do and they don't. It depends. So if it's just bathrooms, they send, you know, people out in the hallway to the GP room lobby. When it's been used as a shelter, people have slept in the gym. Or if they just need a shower, they come in and use the showers. They're usable. They clean them and that's fine. They're just 50 million years old. And the space could be utilized better, get somebody in there to work with us, kind of help us dream up a new space. I think it may still end up being connected to the gym, Dave. That's,
Is
you know, in some
Yeah, I thought it
way.
was just one door. It was so
Yeah.
long ago, but,
And some of the spaces that used to be whatever coaches' offices where you
Yeah.
can get in there are just full of storage
yeah,
stuff.
because
that-
I thought like
Well, Park and
the
Rec just-
format that we looked at was different, yeah.
Yeah,
But they do, I'm just telling you, because the grandkids, for the Park and Rec basketball, they go in there and they use the bathrooms and halftime, they go in there and talk, rally, whatever. So,
'Cause I-
okay, so who
'cause I
do we
think-
start with? Who do we?
yeah, see, and I'm thinking about, so we're gonna have to go through this whole process
I
of
know.
All over again.
like going to the Board of Selectmen and saying, we need this money to do this, and then we have to go to the Board of Finance and say
Right.
this. And you were at the Board of Finance meeting, so you know that they ask a lot of questions, which is good. They wanna be good, stewards of the town's money. Because in looking at the highway garage roof, we talked about, well, you did it. Both proposals, that not to exceed amount, because it's what was asked for and approved by the Board of Finance is a little bit more than the totals of the two proposals. Because you figure what, they called it a contingency, but it's really not. It's more like the incidentals. You have to print plans. Mileage is actually included in their proposal just because they're gonna be going back and forth, but if there's extra mileage and stuff like that, you end up maybe spending a couple thousand, but not much more than that. And then they also discussed somewhat that idea of planning a sprinkler system in there. And they kind of were not against it, but not for it.
But they didn't pass anything. for
Well,
that.
no, because we didn't ask that.
Right.
We didn't ask that, but they did bring it up because there was discussion about it at our meetings and other times. They did ask Brad, would there be an insurance savings, which we found out there would not be. So that's gonna be, I'm not sure if that'll ever go anywhere, plan a sprinkler system. But I'm just saying that they always, ask a lot, so whichever direction we go in with the municipal center renovations.
So
So we've
can
got
we
all
start-
these other money things going on, what are they gonna spend money on?
Can we start with the building department, just something to say, okay, what do we need?
No, the building department won't say.
So if I can
We have to start something.
have some patience from everybody, if I think about the locker rooms, we've talked about those for probably 5 years.
No more than that, yeah.
And my conclusion is so far that nothing's been done about changing the locker rooms.
We had a set of plans.
Yep.
That were finished more than 5 years ago. And those plans included that area plus the GP room lobby. We just did
Right, we did that.
the GP room lobby. What we keep calling the locker rooms, which really aren't gonna be locker rooms anymore, were looked at differently more recently by Rachel, Director of Parks and Rec, and saying, can we get, because they're huge locker rooms, really. Right now, one side is full of shelves because that's where they store all their stuff. The other side's getting filled up with stuff because
Yeah.
can it be used differently? Can we have the bathrooms on the one side and on the other side have a big, I don't know, teaching space or classroom
Yeah.
space which I think is a great idea. But the biggest question keeps being, how many toilets do we need? And the building department's not gonna say.
Well,
because-
that's what stonewalled us with
Yes,
getting some traction, and then it was like,
Yep,
well,
yep.
for us to move forward, we need to know how many showers, and we're like, well, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not saying how many. to put
I know, which is kind of
Yeah.
why I think
I think we even
people-
asked the fire, did we ask the fire marshal too?
well,
Or, yeah,
because
well,
he's,
yeah. fire
because he's
code,
the, he also is the EMS person,
Yeah.
so he would know what would be, we asked him about like what's needed specifically for something to be a shelter, and he said there really isn't any, like rules, so to
Yeah.
speak. But if you're gonna say shelter, you also have to say, we have, you know, beds, bathrooms, food. Or if it's a shelter where you can just come and charge your devices and you have to go home. Those are the kinds of things you,
Right.
you say what you have so people know what they're gonna get when they show
He
up.
was more concerned, and you have to have certain space like they have now. It's like locked, and where you keep the cots, where you keep all
Yes,
the
yes.
PPE, where you
Yeah.
keep all the, like, now. all of a
Things
sudden
they
you
need,
that.
beds,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
need-
yep.
Everybody's list gets a little,
Right. But other organizations may bring things too. I'm just saying for like sheltering, that's a whole different, I'm just telling, the Red Cross brings a lot.
I think he was talking more like, if
Because-
it's not not where like the Red Cross
Right,
gets
right,
involved,
right,
but like
It's certain.
when the power outage goes
Right,
3 weeks up on Sunset Hill, and that whole area.
Right.
And you have families coming in, charging, they have to have certain things.
Right.
Yeah,
Available. for
because
them.
they have CERT volunteers here, whatever CERT stands for, but, and then I think Red Cross comes in too, but
okay, so I see on the shared drive, under the town hall locker rooms project,
nothing.
there's nothing, but you talked about, so can we, where can we get like those proposed, that plan several years ago, you know, at least to start to, fill that a little bit, even though it's drafts, even though it's an idea, we should
I'll
have
look and
something.
see what I might have, because the plans were done by Architects Guild. And then when we looked back at Architects Guild, then they helped us with making that little sketch kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was like a beginning. There was a whole back and forth insurance thing with them, and they're not gonna change their insurance to
To
work
do this
with right now.
project, yeah.
But at least we have something, what I'm saying is, at least
Right.
we have something that we can say, I mean, the next step that we take, we'll go to the Board of Selectmen and say, where do we go? Because everybody is, it'll never get done unless we start it. So-
And right, and
And I'm
I
not saying that it didn't get started, but it died.
right, because I had asked,
Various reasons.
I had asked Jay Metcalf of BMP a couple of times.
He
What-
wouldn't- He wouldn't do it because he didn't know, we were too wishy-washy.
Yeah,
on what
he
we
didn't know,
wanted.
he's like,
And he's like, we need to be specific in order
Right.
for him to give you a price. But there's also the issue of you had to be careful what you called it,
Yes,
because if you called it something, if that would dictate that you need 9 bathrooms.
yeah,
Yeah,
As
yeah,
opposed to saying it's a shared space, or it's, you had to be very careful how
Yes.
you labeled it.
which is what we need the biggest help with. How do we label it? Who's gonna tell us that?
Well, is it, I've always heard Park and Rec needs it, so can it be under a Park and Rec?
It is under Park and Rec, but she's trying to make it more of, originally the director before her, it was gonna be used as a Park and Rec space.
Right.
But the new director is trying to be where she wants it to be a shared space, not
Right.
just for Park and Rec.
Right.
It could be a space
For the
for
town.
all the towns to
Yeah.
use. So that kind of takes it a little bit out of her arena to a certain extent, because she's trying to open it up to being a municipal space, like
Yeah.
use it for what is needed in the town.
Space
I
is
think the
precious.
biggest thing is the label.
Space is,
Space is precious.
space is precious.
And using that space for storage is kind of silly, I
It
think.
is.
We ought to move all, we ought to go to the
They,
place down the hallway.
I know, but
down-
Park and Rec,
Down the road here and rent some
Yeah.
space.
Park and Rec is
Or a shed? I
having
mean,
to work that out. You know, you can put some pods back there or something and
Yeah, I
set the back.
said it there, I said, you know, in the back parking lot, you could put a shed or pod or something,
Yeah.
and put stuff that's not used that often, at least that clear that up. And he said, well, that's an option. He's, I don't know, but
and
yeah,
that has
that's
to
an
be put in
option.
the budget too, for this project is purchasing that.
Yeah, yeah, true.
No, I know, everything
Initiate this, try to start with things like, it's not a storage space. What are we gonna do with it?
Yeah.
How would it be used? And have Park and Rec tell us what their proposed uses for space would be, what we would use, and other folks in the community that would use it for whatever.
All right, well, I still got a little, so where do we go? I'm just saying, should we have a meeting with either Dan Carter, the Board of Selectmen,
Well,
can you look for some maybe sketches that they?
well, I have the plans somewhere probably, and Rachel might have them on her computer from what was done by Architect Guild 10 years ago. It must have been when we did the abatement in 2015, so it must have been around there sometime. And the sketch which if I don't have it, I have a paper copy. I think I also have a scan of it too, which I think I have to look for it. I'll put it up there. The, you Chair, I can help you. If you want to do like an update to the Board of Selectmen sometime soon
Oh, that's.
and include that
Forgot about
as,
that, yeah.
what do we do about this thing? You know,
Okay.
it's been languishing. And then again, I just thought of something about BMP. What was I thinking? Oh, so we still have, the town, still has this kind of open-ended agreement with Colliers as kind of project manager, owner's representative for them to work for the town. It's open-ended in that it didn't end. It didn't end with like, I thought they brought them on just for ARPA stuff. And then once ARPA funds were gone, they were done. But my last connection with, Colliers, what's his name? Scott, I think. I'll have to look it up. Was basically that they're still, I mean, you have to kind of give them some sort of scope of what you want and they'll come up with a price kind of thing.
So what are they,
So they're in,
proposal firm?
no, they're owner's project manager. They probably are one of those kinds of companies that does a little bit of everything. Like they could take you
Like in
through.
this TV?
Yeah, like STV. Yeah.
Okay.
And I had asked about that contract situation and he said, oh no, and we can get together and, you know, help you out and look at it. So if we want to bring them in and just have them look at it and say, what do we do next? Kind of, maybe they can give us an idea. And
Maybe they can give you the language for how to label it. So
Yeah.
that you don't go down this
right.
rabbit hole
Right.
with bathrooms.
Or if they say, we would propose to do X, Y, and Z for X amount of money, we'd have to obviously get permission to get the money, but if that's a couple $1,000s or whatever to start moving things further along than they are.
But we have to have our ducks in a row before we have that conversation. I have to have some idea about
Right.
what we think, what the submission
Yes,
needs
yeah,
to be done
yeah.
with that space.
Which,
Given input from the town department, so we can potentially.
right. So, like I said, we did, when we met with BMP and Gordian, Dave, me, whoever else came, Rachel, Park and Rec, kind of, and, we had before that met at Architects Guild office, which is where they came up with that sketch of, you know, the plumbing wall is here, bathrooms here, classroom there. And then some other stuff over here, mostly like not really ripping a whole lot apart, but painting and maybe moving a door from here to here, that kind of thing. That was just a real schematic, sort of like, here's an idea, can we run with it? And then that didn't work out because of all the insurance stuff and like that.
Right.
Do we have any sense for what the need might be for an emergency?
So the, we would have to ask.
You mean storm?
Shelter,
You mean like
People
a town
staying here?
storms?
Yeah.
Okay. Power
So the biggest ones were in 2011, 2012. So there was
outage.
the Halloween storm and then Storm Sandy. And people stayed here for a week or more. You'd have to get that from Tom probably.
Find out how many.
And there were people in and out and the CERT volunteers were here and food was coming in from somewhere. I'm not sure where, but we'd have to get that info from them. But I think we don't need to say that we're building it to be a shelter. I think we're building it
No,
to be
no,
a
that's not, that's.
usable,
I think
And
that's
it's
one of the things we
possible.
came
That's a
up with, is to
secondary
say, we do not,
Right.
whatever we do not
yeah,
say it's a
Yes.
shelter.
but it could be used that way if needed, but we're not gonna
I
say
think, what
that.
they say, he said something.
Tom?
No, they called
Oh,
it,
Jay?
they said to call it like, just something vague, like swing space.
Yeah.
Like something like, he's like, don't label it.
Right.
Try the hardest not to label it,
Right,
because then you can, he was kind of like swaying us saying, then you can just say, we want to put 2 toilets in each and 1 shower.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because if we say swing space, there's no like,
Not fine.
there's nothing in
And I
the
think we
book that
just-
says, oh, you need this much for this,
Yeah.
occupancy has to be,
Yes,
like,
right.
you avoid,
Right.
Yes.
You make it as general as you
yeah, you
can.
make it as general.
Because I think
Right.
that we need to start with the agenda item and not call it locker rooms, just say municipal center renovations.
Yeah, I think you're right. It happens to be in the locker room area.
What used to be locker rooms.
Yeah, but it's not a locker room anymore.
And that's why I.
All right,
I
so
remember
what do we
seeing like
do?
a drawing and it was like, when you came in off the main, what do you call that? The entranceway, there's
That
a door there, that was a hallway, and the 2 bathrooms and all
Yes,
that.
yeah.
And then there was a hallway coming in from the gym.
Yes,
And that was it. So you didn't have, what, 2 doors in there. There was now just 1 door in the gym. It wasn't a men's locker room or it was just a door that
but
you could open.
there was a hallway coming in from the gym
Yeah,
that would feed into both
yeah, that.
men's and women's, or girls and boys.
So
or
then you'd only have
anyone.
1 door. It
Yeah.
wasn't locker rooms at that point because
There's no locker.
there's no lockers,
And
there's
there's
no
no
locker room. That's just, if the rest of the
bathroom.
building's closed and you're in the gym, you can
You use
access
that
those
bathroom.
bathrooms.
Yep.
You don't
Yep.
need to go out into the rest of the building. You
Right.
can access those bathrooms
Yes.
for the gym. That was kind of the idea behind that.
Right. And then the back, so the main hallway that's facing School Street, it's coming in from there. And then the back hallway that comes in off the parking lot, which actually has an entrance into the old existing boys locker room, would be the entrance into whatever space that
Yeah.
becomes.
So is the fear about labeling it a shelter, or is that it might be thought of as a homeless shelter?
No,
Is that it would then open us up
Require
to
more
require,
toilets,
oh, now
different standards.
you need 8.
Yeah.
Stalls in the women's bathroom. You need 3 and 2 urinals in the men.
Right.
You need
Showers. how
4
many
showers
eggs?
in
Yeah.
each one. Like it opens us up to a different standard of then how we have to build it.
Different
Whereas
codes.
in
space,
it was Jay. I think
exits.
Jay said, just don't label it.
yeah,
When we walked out of that meeting, he's like, do your best
Yeah.
not to label it.
Yeah.
He's like, 'cause as soon as you label it,
Right.
there's gonna be codes, there's gonna be guidelines, there's gonna be,
Handicap
Yeah.
accessible, all
if
that.
we're just
Well,
saying it's
has to
swing
be
space,
handicap
hey,
accessible.
No,
like,
I know.
but,
theater people might use it one
Yeah.
day.
right,
It might be used, there's not a meeting room available. Let's throw some of these tables up and we'll do a meeting in the swing
gym,
space.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get it.
It just, now
Because
it doesn't,
the original plans from Architects Guild basically say general space
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
general purpose, another general purpose room.
Yeah.
Like it's just. that's basically-
Multi-purpose space.
Yeah, that's basically what
Yeah.
we're doing.
Renovations to this multi-purpose space or something
It
like
should
that.
just be a municipal swing space with bathrooms, basically,
Yeah,
you know, and then it can be used for any
And-
number
and
of.
don't say that the bathrooms are for the gym,
No, you just make
because
using
when the
it.
gym's in use, technically those new bathrooms that they put in are accessible without the rest of the building being open.
Well, the main reason was for having the bathroom exit just out onto that front hallway
Yeah.
was again, so when we have events on the front lawn, you can shut down both doors now and lock
Yeah.
access to the entire building.
Right.
But you have enough bathroom space for an event to not have to do porta johns, that kind of thing.
And don't forget, you need enough means of egress for the occupancy, so you need a couple doors.
Yeah.
2 ways out and all.
Yeah, well, that we have, that would be it.
Yeah. So,
But that's
Which, yeah.
basically a municipal swing space to be used any way the municipality needs it for a swing space.
yeah.
Why don't,
Which actually.
I'll write up with somebody, because we have to do that for the board of selectmen, I'll pass it by, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know when the next board is selectmen meeting?
November 4th, it's election
We'll
day.
just have,
I don't know.
but there's.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's the first Monday, right?
Oh, okay, yes, okay.
They may have special meetings. Sometimes they have them, sometimes they don't. Depends on what they have on their agenda. We're talking about the next Board of Selectmen meeting, which is on election day. I won't be available, because I'll be doing election stuff. And then it'll be the 18th, would be after that.
Oh, when's our first meeting in November?
Is it 12? 12.
Next meeting is 12,
All right, I'll be back.
and then 2 weeks after that is the 26th, which is the day before Thanksgiving.
I'll be back.
Probably only have one meeting.
12, and then it was the night, yeah, the night before Thanksgiving, I didn't even schedule anything. I think
Oh, yeah,
we just did a one meeting month for November.
If we do the one the night before Thanksgiving, I will not be here.
But I didn't. put it
Yeah,
on
I was gonna say, if
the
that does turn into.
agenda. At the beginning of the year after the meeting schedule, I don't even think I put it on there because I left it off.
Okay, so we'll leave it at that. And, all right, any other topics that anybody wants to speak about? Okay. So I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and it's 8:11 PM.